As of today, Fabio Wardley is not just a heavyweight boxer. He's a symbol of what it means to chase greatness against all odds. With an undefeated record of 19 wins, 1 draw, and 18 knockouts, Wardley has transformed from a quiet Suffolk lad into the WBA Interim Heavyweight Champion, shaking up a division long dominated by traditional names. His journey has stunned critics, silenced doubters, and inspired a new wave of British boxing fans. Born outside the boxing elite, with no amateur pedigree, no Olympic medals, and no early spotlight, Wardley fought his way to glory on sheer grit, raw power, and unshakable self-belief. As of mid-2025, his estimated net worth hovers around $2,500,000 to $2,800,000, earned through PPV bonuses, sponsorships, and headline bouts. Early life, the making of a warrior. Born on December 18, 1994, in Ipswich, Suffolk, Fabio Wardley came into the world far removed from the glamorous lights of Las Vegas or Madison Square Garden. Raised in a working-class environment, Wardley's early life wasn't about boxing gloves and championship belts. It was about surviving, adapting, and slowly learning who he was. Though he's protective of his family's privacy, it's known that he was raised by a strong, supportive single mother. No major information is publicly available about siblings, but what's clear is that his early years were grounded in humility. He attended local schools in Suffolk and spent his youth surrounded by hardworking people, builders, teachers, truck drivers, who knew nothing about boxing but everything about effort. But Wardley wasn't the star athlete in school. He didn't walk the halls wearing medals. His rise started from a place far humbler, white-collar boxing. It began with a charity match. No TV cameras, no hype, just 2 men in a ring trying to do something different. But Fabio felt something spark inside him. The rhythm of combat, the discipline, the quiet roar in his chest. And he knew then, this was it. College career, the road less taken. While many of today's elite fighters come from decorated amateur backgrounds or prestigious sport academies, Fabio Wardley never walked those corridors. He did not attend university. His classroom was the gym, his teachers were coaches, and his textbooks were rounds of sparring. Instead of donning graduation robes, Wardley strapped on gloves and stepped into underground rings. He learned the science of survival, the psychology of punishment, and the art of landing the perfect right hand. Professional career, 1 fight at a time. The unconventional debut. Wardley made his professional debut on April 8, 2017, at York Hall in London. There were no media storms or bold predictions, just a hungry man stepping through the ropes. He won that night, and it didn't stop winning. Fight after fight, he delivered explosive knockouts. Promoters started noticing. So did fans. And eventually, so did boxing royalty, Dillian White, who took Wardley under his promotional wing and mentored him into the global stage. The rise through the ranks. In August 2020, Wardley knocked out Simon Vallely to capture the English heavyweight title. Then came the British title, won in stunning fashion by stopping Nathan Gorman. Still, critics whispered, can he handle pressure? Can he go the distance? Is he just a power puncher? Fabio answered them all, with fists. In October 2023, he squared off against David Adelai in Riyadh and won not just the British title defense, but also added the Commonwealth, WBO European, and WBA Continental titles to his resume. But perhaps his most defining moment came in March 2024, when he stood toe-to-toe with Fraser Clark, a former Olympian, in front of thousands. The match ended in a controversial split-decision draw. The boxing world debated, but Wardley said only one thing: let's run it back. He did. And in the rematch in October 2024, Wardley knocked Clark out in round 1. The division stood up and took notice. Fabio Wardley was no longer an underdog. He was a problem. WBA Interim Heavyweight Champion. The journey hit its peak on June 7, 2025. In a fairy tale scenario, Wardley returned to his hometown of Ipswich, fighting at Portman Road, the very stadium where he once sat as a fan. His opponent? Justice Huoney, the slick, unbeaten Australian prodigy. For 9 rounds, Wardley took punishment, absorbing Huoney's technical brilliance. Then, In the 10th round, as if guided by fate, he landed a monstrous right hand that sent Huni crashing to the canvas. The crowd erupted. Wardley became the WBA Interim Heavyweight Champion in the very town that raised him. Personal life, more than fighter. Love and family. Behind the gloves and grit, Fabio Wardley is a family man. As of June 2025, he is in a long-term relationship and is preparing to welcome his first child, expected just days after his historic win over Huni. It's a tender contrast, a man who knocks out opponents in stadiums by night and builds a home and family by day. Spiritual beliefs and character. Wardley doesn't speak much about religion. He remains quiet on faith, but loud in action. He often gives back to the community, participating in boxing workshops, charity events, and mentoring young fighters. He is known in Ipswich as humble, respectful, and grounded, a local hero who never forgot where he came from. Life beyond the ring. Outside boxing, Wardley avoids excessive flash. He's not the type to flaunt wealth on social media. He's focused on longevity, building a legacy, not just a moment. He's interested in future business ventures and potentially managing fighters when he retires. House tour and car collection. Where he lives, Fabio still lives in Suffolk, close to his roots. While details are private, it's known that he recently purchased a modern, multi-bedroom home just outside Ipswich. It includes a private gym, sauna, and relaxation space, a fortress of solitude where he prepares for battle. Cars. Wardley is not a flashy car collector, but he's been seen in luxury SUVs and understated models. He reportedly owns a black Range Rover Sport, a Mercedes-AMG GLE, and recently picked up an electric Porsche Taycan, reflecting both performance and responsibility. As of now, Fabio Wardley is alive, healthy, and active in the sport. At age 30, he's in peak physical condition, with no medical issues or health concerns publicly known. Fabio Wardley's story isn't just about wins and titles. It's about proving that you don't need the perfect path to reach the pinnacle. He didn't come from money. He didn't have an Olympic pedigree. What he had was desire, heart, and an iron will. He is, in many ways, the anti-celebrity, private, focused, and deeply authentic. But don't mistake humility for weakness. Wardley has earned his place among the best. His knockout of Justice Huni will be remembered for years. And as the heavyweight division begins a new era, one thing is certain. Fabio Wardley is not done. He's just getting started.